Hi viewers, this is Nisma Ameer with another episode of our amazing program Meet the CEO, जिसका मकसद है पाकिस्तान के कामयाब तरीन CEOs को डिस्कवर करना और आपसे मिलवाना, so that you can learn from their success and the struggles behind their journey. Today we're going to meet Mr. Naseer Ahmed Akhtar, CEO of Infotech. Hello sir, welcome to our show. It's a pleasure that you're here with us today.
Thank you very much.
To start off our conversation, I would want कि हम आपको थोड़ा सा background में लेके चलें और आप हमें बताएं कि किस तरह से your entire professional journey started, how did it come along to this point? Well, in a summary though.
Yeah, okay. It's a long journey. I can only summarize.
Yeah.
It was like any other person's. It was tough, long, yet very exciting. I was lucky that I was exposed to a very dynamic environment in the early stage of my career. Okay. That was the age when microprocessor was just evolving into a powerful tool for technology. So that's where I started my career, in those environments where there was a lot of learning, there was a lot of hiccups as well. So it was primarily my exposure to Silicon Valley. That's where I started.
Okay, that's amazing. So from the very start, did you always know that I want to follow the IT side of the situation? Yeah, over time you realized that this is my passion and I want to pursue a career into this field? Because I'm sure when you started off, it was still कह लें अभी तो एक conventional industry बनती चलती जा रही है, but पहले वो एक थोड़ी सी unconventional होती थी. तो how were you able to find the passion and the interest in technology and IT and all of that?
Well, in those days, IT as a terminology was not even existent. So, I mean, the dream for any person would be to be a well recognized engineer delivering something phenomenally different and evolutionary. So that was actually an era, as I mentioned, the microprocessor was just in late 70s, early 80s. That's where I was hooked up to technology and electronics in a massive way. So it was not pure IT that I started. It was a mix of too many things, engineering, software. It was just in early stages.
Sahi. Yeah. So given that you mentioned that you had the exposure of Silicon Valley, then eventually how did the transition bring you to Pakistan? पहले तो वो भी बताएं, और Silicon Valley का experience जो था वो, how rich was that for you?
Well, whosoever has been exposed to Silicon Valley would unanimously agree on that is a place where things really shape up.
They take place.
And because of a very peculiar ecosystem that has been there for decades now, and that is why you see all the successful global enterprises in technology come out of that place. It is a very collaborative environment and very, I would say, dynamic research, development, and commercialization of any technology takes place. So that is the key attribute of Silicon Valley. So I spent early years, let's say about 2-3 years consistently there. And then I was associated with that place for a long time. We still are present there in a way because we have Pakistani diaspora. We still exchange ideas. We still embark upon new ventures every day. So it was mid-80s when I decided to come back and do something at our motherland. So
but didn't you? How were you able to take that plunge? At one end, you're in Silicon Valley, where you just said that things take place and it's where everything begins. Then what was that thought process? या वो कौन सा ऐसा कह ले monumental point था जिस पे आपने सोचा that I want to go back, and कैसे आपने फोर्स किया कि पाकिस्तान में मैं ये लेके जाऊंगा तो I will see success?
Well, there was no particular turning point or any trigger point for that. It was just that I was in those years of my age where one doesn't really care much about the consequences. You just try to follow your dreams.
Yeah.
So that's what I decided to come back and do something different out here, and I've been trying to do it.
Definitely.
Alhamdulillah, we have done
Definitely.
few things which are I won't call rare, but those are breakthroughs.
Definitely.
In commercial technology.
Definitely. So coming to Infotech, tell us more about it. कि ये इसका कह लें start कैसे हुआ, thought process क्या था, how did this come into being?
Well, it was 1987 when I left my last job with a multinational, and I started my own. I had a saving of about a couple of $1,000s at that time.
Okay.
So, but my determination was quite okay, and support of friends out here and back there in US. So I started with few people and gradually grew.
Yeah, definitely. You grew successfully. Just to, let's say to make it more easy for the layman to understand, जब हम Infotech की बात करते हैं तो Infotech exactly किस किस्म की services और products जो है वो provide कर रहा है nationally and globally. तो थोड़ा सा about your services and your clients वो हमें बताएं.
Okay. In a broader term, what we call a system integrator.
Okay.
A system integrator is a company which can do a number of things for a customer or in solving a problem at hand with the technology.
Okay.
That involves a know-how and expertise in infrastructure, in computing, in networks, in security, software, applications, integration. So there are about 10-12 major touch points that we manage.
To shed more light on it, I obviously did research on Infotech, and you guys are into financial products and apps which are helping out on a governmental level, banking sector ko, jisme there are various products that you guys have created. Tell us more about that. How has that revolutionized the industry, given कि पाकिस्तान के लिए वो बहुत breakthroughs रहे हैं? तो अपने कुछ products के बारे में बताएं which really made it big and they made Infotech big.
Okay, there are few things which we do which lots of other people also do. Like we provide banking technology to the banking sector. We have created some phenomenally brilliant solutions and products for capital market trading community के लिए. Our system runs at least 13-14 stock exchanges around the world and post-trade infrastructure around that. So that is something that we are very proud of. The next big thing we are doing, there are two major verticals that we have taken up, and we have grown in terms of our knowledge base and our expertise in that. One is GovTech, which is the technology for governments. I mean, in a larger scale, you can say digital governance. I mean, governments need tools and processes to automate in such a way that the services to citizens or businesses are delivered seamlessly and frictionlessly. That will enhance, obviously, ease of doing business.
Definitely.
Delivering services to the citizens or businesses at a speed which is needed these days.
Bilkul.
The second big thing is we are doing a few things which are very rare in cybersecurity and information security. We have some products which will not only substitute a huge amount import substitution for country.
Okay.
But we'll be able to earn a phenomenally huge number of exports by exporting that technology.
Sahi.
So I can't reveal more information than this, but
that's a positive one though. That we need more exports.
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely. Yeah. That's great. Achha, when you started setting up Infotech, what were the challenges that you faced? And because I'm sure at that point for Pakistan, this was ahead of its time, right? So what were the sort of challenges जो आपने face किए हुए थे उस time पे और फिर उनको किस तरह से deal किया? How were you able to deal with them?
Okay, sometimes it's good to be ahead of time.
Yeah.
And we were actually in mid 80s till mid 80s, even late 90s. I can tell you that in terms of our telecommunication infrastructure, we were way ahead of India. At least 10 years ahead of India. So, but we could not leverage that growth bubble which was there. We missed that because we were not sufficient in terms of producing number of graduates at that time and to cope up with the global requirement which India captured at that time, and they are still in lead.
Yeah.
We are still unfortunately
lagging
struggling with our internal issues, ease of doing business or consistencies in policies on whether investment or taxation for global investors to come and invest in technology. I mean, the opportunity size is huge.
It's huge,
unbelievable.
Yeah. Given that you're on the topic, what factors, एक तो human resource, what other factors do you think have developed, have contributed? Basically, what factors have contributed that we are not able to reach or utilize the potential that we have in our IT industry? मतलब कि क्या वो factors आपको लग रहे हैं जो हमें पीछे रखा है उन्होंने? आप जैसे कह रहे हैं कि when you started off, you guys were 10 years ahead of our neighboring country, but right now we are kind of struggling and lagging behind. तो क्या factors हैं जो आपके ख्याल से जिन्होंने contribute किया इस notion में?
The biggest factor I would still say, and everyone else in this country would recognize that, it's our investments in human development has been falling grossly short of what we need. एक दूसरा obviously our political instability, inconsistencies of policies, उसमें visibility की कमी होती है for an investor. But primarily हमारा जो अभी तक जो struggle है वो that is on human development and supply side of resources and skills. ये तो है ही है. बाकी generally जो हमारे जो low productivity is one factor, and that is not in technology, that is in every business. We I mean my own research says that, and people can validate that we as a nation, we are operating at less than 30% of our capacity. We are not disciplined. We don't really measure what we do in 8 hours. I mean, the concept over here is 8 hours of presence. Not
rather
8
than
hours
productivity.
of production. So that is one thing which is actually deteriorating our per capita income and eventually GDP. Because we are too many in numbers, but we are too short in delivery. And that is these are 2-3 factors which are the key factors. We are not disciplined. We don't measure ourselves, and we don't really learn as much as we need to in order to cope up with the global demand. Things on the table.
Welcome back to our show. So now towards a more positive note, let's talk about Infotech. Now Infotech not only has a presence, an amazing presence in Pakistan, but a global presence as well. तो पहले तो ये बताएं कि how did that, how did you venture into making it a global identity, और globally किन countries में किन clients को जो है आप cater कर रहे हैं?
Starting with with Pakistan, obviously that was our goal to do, but unfortunately, around 15 years ago, we realized that Pakistan market is not growing at a pace which we desire to, and still is the case. Probably in terms of technology spending, we are lowest in the world. Our market size is shamefully smaller than what it should be in terms of population and the problems at hand that we have. Then we decided in 2005 to go out of Pakistan, and we started securing business in Middle East, Africa, Central Asia.
Sahi.
Yeah, so today we are in about 18 countries delivering solutions to governments, to financial institutions, and to their telecom infrastructure in terms of cybersecurity. So we are. I'm personally not satisfied at the pace of growth, although we as a company, we are growing about 35-40% year on year. As of today, the global market size is, the total ICT, information and communication technology market size is about $5 trillion a year.
Okay.
Out of which what we can do is around $2.2 trillion, which is software and software related services.
Sahi.
We can't manufacture telecom equipment, we can't produce microprocessor, chips, hardware, these kind of things. We have missed that boat, and that is, that's the game with China and Korea and Taiwan. Not even US and Europe is producing it anymore. So our addressable market is software and software related services, which is around $2.2 trillion a year.
Okay.
Out of which India has gained a substantial portion, about 9%. Their exports are around 200 billion plus dollars a year. We are at around $3.5 billion, which comes to about 0.15% of the global market share. Whereas in terms of population, we are 230 million. But when it comes to the skilled workforce needed to tap on that opportunity, we are way behind. So we need to work on that.
But on a positive note, what potential do you see in our youth? Because definitely अब हमारे जो youth में एक trend है, उनमें awareness है कि IT और digital और technology की जो industry इसको pursue किया जाए. तो उस लिहाज से जब आप देखते हैं, interviews होते होंगे, आपके पास जो potential employees आते होंगे, तो क्या आप generally potential देखते हैं पाकिस्तान में with this respect?
Potential wise, I mean, you will be surprised if I tell you the difference in intellect level and understanding level and mathematical skills and logical skills and even their communication skills in English. थोड़ी सी polish की ज़रूरत obviously वो होती है, वो हमें हर साइड पे चाहिए. उनके जो soft skills हैं लोगों की, उनकी habits, उनके discipline, वो साइड पे कोच करना पड़ेगा. लेकिन फॉर्चुनेटली हमारी इस खित्ते में जो जनरली स्पीकिंग लॉजिकल स्किल्स, मैथमेटिकल स्किल्स, वो बहुत ही मतलब कि सुपर हैं. ऑल व्हाट दे नीड इज एक्सपोजर एंड द मेथोडोलॉजी टू टीच देम टू सॉल्व ए प्रॉब्लम. तो वो स्किल्स जो है ना, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स, उनके ऊपर कोच करना जो है वो है. मैं अभी रिसेंटली आई हैपन टू मीट स्टूडेंट्स फ्रॉम southern Punjab universities in Bahawalpur and Multan. I mean, extremely competent, extremely brilliant kids are coming out of those areas. They need a runway to fly.
Definitely. अच्छा, आपके ख्याल से what is your take on this? जैसे हम सबने देखा when COVID hit the entire world, पाकिस्तान में अगर हम स्पेसिफिकली बात करें तो जो डिजिटल अवेयरनेस रह गई थी ना, वो भी पूरी हो गई है. जनरली आई फील दैट इवन विद द ओल्डर जनरेशन, everyone is now more well adept and more well aware that how important the digital presence is, and so the businesses as well realized कि हर बिजनेस को ई कॉमर्स में जो है प्रेजेंस चाहिए है। तो कोविड ने किस तरह से बूस्ट आपके ख्याल से दिया इन्फोटेक को भी और ओवरऑल हमारी जो आईटी इंडस्ट्री है उसको?
कोविड ने तो ग्लोबली एक ऐसा ज़बरदस्त ट्रिगर किया है डिजिटलाइजेशन को और ऑटोमेशन को कि एंड द रीज़न दैट द ग्लोबल मार्केट साइज ऑफ आईसीटी सर्विसेज grew from $3.5 trillion to jumped to $5.2 trillion in just 2-3 years. So that is a big trigger. COVID was a big trigger globally.
Definitely.
Pakistan also, I would say that आप indicator देख लें, digital payments increased by 100-fold.
True.
Interactions on meetings. And other things, Zooms and grocery, for example, e-commerce
grocery apps have really taken up.
So, I mean, it was a blessing in disguise. COVID gave this world trouble, but at the same time, opportunities to innovate.
बिल्कुल.
So, वो उसको हमने भी उतना ही capture किया जितनी हमारी capacity थी. We could have done better, but I think moving forward, people are acquiring these habits,
and now they're more open to these ideas.
Yes.
Let's suppose 2 years back the mothers at our houses would never order fruits and vegetables from an app, but now it has become like a norm, and they've realized that there is so much ease and time and effort and fuel that you're saving. So I think that is definitely one blessing in disguise. That
digital adoption is phenomenally on the rise. Pakistan में भी और globally भी है. अब इसको ये है कि we need to maintain this momentum in order to reap the benefits.
Definitely. Now at the point that you are with Infotech, I'm sure initially जब आपने शुरू किया होगा तब तो आपकी अभी भी आपकी इन्वॉल्वमेंट ऑब्वियसली 100% होगी, बट आई एम श्योर नाउ विद सो मेनी पीपल एंड दिस ह्यूज टीम यू आर मैनेजिंग एंड यू आर डेलीगेटिंग द टास्क्स, आपकी अपनी एक्सपर्टीज आपके ख्याल से क्या है दैट वन स्पेसिफिक लेट्स से element or something that you specifically like working on when it comes to Infotech? Let's say it can be client management or innovation. कोई एक ऐसा जो कहते हैं ना strong suite होता है बंदे का, वो क्या है आपके लिए?
ये जो रोल हैं ये इवॉल्व होते हैं आपके करियर के साथ साथ. When I started, I was doing coding, I was doing everything, and then I started adding more people. And so
you were delegating.
I was delegating. I was training them, coaching them, and I'm very proud that I created hundreds of leaders, alhamdulillah, which are now doing wonderful things around the world. Those who have been working with me throughout past 20-30 years. And my dream role will remain the same, to coach people to find out their purpose and what is exactly they are trying to do in life. In a commercial world, you need to understand कि आपके जो कस्टमर है उसका प्रॉब्लम क्या है, उसकी पेन्स क्या है. वो जितनी बेहतर आप समझ सकेंगे उतना ही बेहतर आप उनको सोल्यूशन दे सकेंगे और उतना ही बेहतर वो आप ट्रस्ट उसका गेन कर सकेंगे. So that is what I coach, teach my people around, that go find out what exactly your customers' pains are, उनके problems क्या हैं, solve those problems, go present, explain, and win their trust, and then deliver what you promise.
With every field, with every walk of life, every phase of life, there are always challenging times. For example, let's say you're planning and expecting something out of something और वो उस तरह से नहीं होता तो इंसान डीमोटिवेट हो जाता है. आप पर अगर कभी ऐसा फेज आया हो जिसमें कोई फेलियर आपने देखा हो तो किस तरह से आपने अपने आप को उस फेज में से बाहर निकाला and you kept on going?
So my approach on failing is just like that. I go back, I re-evaluate, reassess myself, find out the reasons, and try not to repeat it. There are always external factors, but we must cater for those kind of risks while planning what you are trying to do, that you don't fail. But there will always be an external factor in failing, but I don't believe that it should be more than 20%.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would go back and on the drawing board, and I will reassess myself, not to repeat those mistakes or miscalculations.
And how long does it take for you to come out of it and just move on?
No, it's a business as usual.
हाँ.
Yeah, आपने failure को अगर स्वार कर लिया, तो then you can't move. Yeah,
True.
yeah. Failures are bound to happen.
Part of the game.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's
Definitely.
true. Yeah.
Definitely. So you've also been the chairman of Pakistan Industry Association, and while you were at that, what impact was that association able to bring for the IT industry and overall?
It is, about 20-25 years ago, we started this initiative, and I would start with a few names like Jahara. I worked with her in the very early stages.
Sahi.
Evolved and nurtured Pasha to a very powerful and very effective industry association as of now, and lots of people has contributed a lot. Nowadays it's being driven by younger people. I do contribute at my level, whatever, but I have no aspirations to continue to be chairman or the contributor in terms of a CEC member or elected position. So, but my contributions are always there.
Always there.
I do advise them. I do talk about industry issues at various forums and at Pasha as well. So Pasha is very close to my heart.
Okay, yeah. That's great. Given that you are an entrepreneur yourself and a successful one, क्या आपके ख्याल से एलिमेंट्स और ट्रेड्स इम्पॉर्टेंट हैं अगर एक यंग इंडिविजुअल है और वो आईटी की इंडस्ट्री में एक अपना वेंचर शुरू करना चाहता है, एंटरप्रेन्योर बनना चाहता है, तो क्या ऐसे कोई ट्रेड्स या एलिमेंट्स आपके ख्याल से ज़रूरी हैं फॉर दैट पर्सन और फॉर दैट वेंचर टू बिकम सक्सेसफुल इन पाकिस्तान?
देखिए, इसमें एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप आजकल लफ्ज़ बड़ा यूज़ होता है, बट एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप इज़ एग्जिस्टिंग एवर सिंस द ह्यूमन बीइंग came into existence. So
today is just the fancy word.
Exactly. तो उसमें भी वही फंडामेंटल है. Entrepreneurship is a natural thing, a desire within a person to do something different, something good for himself and for his or her surroundings, or society or business, whatever they want to capture. So it's a natural process of thinking and doing things.
Yeah.
So उसमें I think मैं again and again इस चीज़ पे emphasize करता हूँ कि we need to go back to the fundamentals which are needed in order for a person to succeed in whatever he or she is doing. So like for example, accurately estimate your potential, your purpose, your goal. It needs to be very clearly defined.
Yeah, for you. So moving on, let's talk about more of you as a leader, as a team player. किस तरह के बॉस या लीडर हैं आप? कैसा एनवायरनमेंट रखते हैं अपने ऑफिसेज में, डेली रूटीन में अपने काम को लेकर with your employees and team members?
देखिए, मेरा सबसे बड़ा इरिटेंट जो है ना वो यही है, और सबसे बड़ा टाइम मेरा जो है ना लोगों को यही कोच करने में गुजरता है कि वो डिसिप्लिन रहें टाइम पे. अच्छा, जो इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं उनको थॉरोली सुनें, फॉलो करें और कोशिश करें कि अगर कोई बीच में प्रॉब्लम आ गया है, whenever you got to know कि यार ये काम आपसे उस टाइम पे नहीं हो पाएगा या वैसे नहीं हो पाएगा, go back and tell
beforehand
कि जी ये नहीं हो रहा, बजाय इसके कि वो जब डेडलाइन आ जाए तब पूछें, तो फिर वो आप आएं बाएं शाएं करें या उसके जो है ना वो एक्सक्यूजेस दें. कोई एक्सक्यूजेस से बदतरीन जो है ना कोई चीज़ ही नहीं
है. True.
So that is my coaching to my people around.
So I think you cannot work well around people who are not disciplined, right?
Well, I can work.
But you
of
won't be
course.
happy around.
Yeah, I mean that will be working under constraints. ये सारी वो चीजें हैं जो कि बिजनेस में एग्जैक्टली इसी तरह अप्लाई होती है।
हाँ, बिल्कुल, ट्रू।
कि आपके रिसोर्स की असेसमेंट आपको होनी चाहिए कि आप क्या कर सकते हैं।
ट्रू।
और यही मैं कोचिंग देता हूँ हर एक को कि डू असेस एंड देन कमिट एंड देन डिलीवर।
So it's assess, commit and then deliver.
Exactly.
That's a great chain of command, definitely. Generally, वैसे तो we've seen a great amount of difference in how women are now taking part in the workforce and they're taking upon different fields. The landscape has changed quite a lot in the past few years. जब हम स्पेसिफिकली IT इंडस्ट्री की बात करते हैं तो यहाँ पे क्या रेशो देखते हैं आप ख़वातीन की एज टेकिंग इट अप एज अ प्रोफेशन, और इन्फोटेक में क्या रेशो है एम्प्लॉयमेंट की व्हेन इट कम्स टू फीमेल्स?
इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रोडक्टिविटी आई थिंक वुमेन आर मोर फोकस्ड, और जो इसमें चाहिए होता है पर्टिकुलर, वैसे तो हर काम में फोकस जो है ना उसके बगैर जो है ना वो
कोई गुजारा नहीं है
डिसेंटली, बट इसमें पर्टिकुलरली आपको अटेंशन स्पैन आपका जो है ना वो होना चाहिए। और उसमें मैंने देखा है कि women are more productive in terms of delivering what they commit or
because
what
I think they have so much on their shoulders, because that when they're at work they want to get those tasks done, because when they're home they have their tasks as well to cater to.
That's true. That's true. तो मेरे ख्याल में कि हमारी इंडस्ट्री में वर्कफोर्स की जो कंपोजिशन है वो बहुत तेजी से और ज़्यादा इम्प्रूव होएगी।
That's great news.
और exactly, और वो उसमें it's a social benefit as well as commercial benefit. तो वो इसको I think कैप्चर करना जो है वो हर एक के लिए वो है, और इसमें कोई कंपल्शन नहीं है, ये नेचुरली ये हो रहा है। दे आर मोर टैलेंटेड, मोर एजुकेटेड, वो रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड ज़्यादा होती हैं।
Has there been a person who inspired you, or a mentor or a role model जिन्होंने आपको बहुत इंस्पायर किया हो?
Oh, not one or two. Too many people. Okay. I took inspiration from everywhere where I found something which impressed me, which was purposeful, which was done in a dignified manner, recognized. बहुत सारे hundreds of people, I mean starting from my early career, और उसमें I try to recognize their contributions in my being of today. I have written a couple of books on and एक मेरी किताब है ग्रीनर वैली, जो कि सिलिकॉन वैली के जो हीरोज हैं उस ज़माने के, उनके ऊपर मैंने लिखी है। मतलब कि वो लोग उन्होंने मतलब कि अमेजिंग काम किए हैं 70s में एंड 80s में। दे बिल्ड कंपनीज, दे वर्कड फॉर ऑल दीज टेक कंपनीज के अर्ली ईयर्स में। इंटेल ले लें, एप्पल ले लें, IBM ले लें, ऑरेकल ले लें, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ले लें। सो देयर आई वैल्यू where I learn, and I try to respect them, recognize them, and I think that is what our younger generation should do.
Moving on, we have our one-liners, which are short questions just to let us know more about your personality. Profession की तो हमने खासी बात कर ली, so on the lighter note, मुझे बताएं कि for you, what is the idea of happiness?
Wow. Happiness is less is more.
Less is more?
Yeah.
Wow. Gen Z wouldn't agree.
Materially.
Haan.
But when it comes to a purpose or a goal, more is less for me.
Okay. And what is your mechanism for coping up with stress?
जो मुझे चाहिए होता है एक डोज पूरे वीक में, वो that I get from my golfing.
Okay.
So
see,
over the
there is we got it out of you.
Over the weekend, wherever I'm traveling, I try to be home on Friday so that I'm able to play on Saturday and Sunday with my friends.
That's great.
It's 4.5 hours of walking on the green and talking.
That kind of detoxifies you.
Absolutely. That is good enough. But in the meanwhile, And I mean, when the weather is good, early morning भी golf अगर हो जाती है तो that is a bonus.
Golf is the
that is
go-to.
my physical way of
That's amazing.
relaxing myself.
And how do you manage to, let's say, balance your personal life and professional life, like family को time देना और काम को time देना, किस तरह से balance out करते हैं?
वो आजकल तो बड़ा इजी हो गया, वर्क फ्रॉम होम।
या बट 2 years ago तो नहीं था ना, तो तब कैसे?
नहीं मैं तब भी किया करता था। आई यूज्ड टू लीव ऑफिस अंडर माय डिसिप्लिन काइंड ऑफ फ्रेमवर्क, go, and if there is like most executives need to put in extra hours of work in order to make it.
अच्छा, स्ट्रेस आप नहीं लेते, डिसिप्लिन, यू आर अ पैटर्न ऑफ डिसिप्लिन, तो गुस्सा जो है वो कहाँ पे लाया करता है? एज ए ह्यूमन इमोशन गुस्सा आता है, अगर आए तो यू नो हाउ टू मैनेज इट प्रोफेशनली स्पेशली, हाउ डू यू डील विद दैट?
गुस्सा मुझे उस वक्त आता है जब सामने एक बंदा आपके झूठ बोल रहा है या मिसकमिट कर रहा है और मुझे पता है कि वो नहीं करना उसने वो काम, फिर वो कह रहा है कि मैं कर दूंगा। हाँ, एग्जैक्टली, तब मुझे गुस्सा आता है।
सही।
तो फिर वो कई दफ़ा तो पी जाता हूँ, कई दफ़ा मैं फिर निकाल देता हूँ वो ज़रा थोड़ा लाउडली कि भाई आप क्या कह रहे हो, डू यू नो दैट मैंने एक अनरीजनेबल चीज़ तुमसे मांग ली और तुमने कहा मैं कर दूंगा, मुझे पता है तुम नहीं कर सकते। तो अच्छा, ये मैं कोचिंग के लिए करता हूँ समटाइम, मुझे पता होता है कि ये बंदे ने ये काम इतने देर में नहीं कर पाएगा, लेकिन मैं कभी कभार उनको वो कर देता हूँ। अच्छा, वो कर लेता है, फिर मैं वापस बुलाता हूँ, मैंने कहा यार तुम अगर नहीं किया तो क्या, नहीं मैं कर लूँगा, मैं क्या बहाना। फिर मैं उसको बताता हूँ कि यू डिड अ रॉन्ग थिंग, यू कमिटेड, तो ना करो ऐसे। तुम्हें आप में हिम्मत होनी चाहिए टू से नो कि जी ये काम नहीं हो सकता जो आप मुझसे कह रहे हैं।
And what about traveling? If you're fond of traveling, तो कोई ऐसी एक international destination जो आपको बहुत पसंद हो?
ये बड़ा मुश्किल सवाल है।
एक बतानी पड़ेगी।
बहुत मुश्किल सवाल है, बहुत ही मुश्किल।
दो बता दें। There is always one or two places which are very close.
अच्छा, मेरी इंटरनेशनल ट्रैवलिंग में बड़ी कम ऐसी इंस्टेंसेस हुए हैं जहाँ पे मैं अकेला अपनी खुशी से सिर्फ वेकेशन के लिए गया हूँ, बहुत ही कम होंगे। अच्छा,
ऑलवेज वर्क रिलेटेड।
एग्जैक्टली, मोस्टली वर्क रिलेटेड ट्रैवल, और जो वेकेशन फैमिली के साथ हैं उसमें ज़्यादातर उनकी ही ऑप्शंस जो है ना वो आप करते हैं, तो इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू फाइंड वन प्लेस, बट आई एंजॉयड वर्किंग एंड हैविंग सोशल इंटरेक्शंस। वो कैलिफोर्निया से आगे दुनिया में कोई जगह नहीं है।
Definitely.
Exactly. That's where you feel at home. You feel like you are.
And also because you've spent your early years in US as well, तो वो भी I think एक कहीं chord struck करता है। हाँ,
exactly.
बिल्कुल
वो embed हो जाता है आपके कि ये this is the place where you belong to.
Definitely. And what about Pakistan? Any chances to travel around Pakistan? तो कोई ऐसा spot?
नहीं, पाकिस्तान में मैं travel करता हूँ, बहुत northern areas में मैं करता हूँ।
कौन सा आपका अच्छा favorite? अच्छा,
कोई ऐसी जगह नहीं।
That's great.
Exactly. But frequency अब थोड़ी कम हो गई है। पहले तो काफ़ी होती थी, लेकिन अभी भी मैं कोशिश करता हूँ टाइम आउट ले लूं और 2-4-6 दिन के लिए, कभी दोस्तों के साथ, कभी फैमिली के साथ।
सही।
So I do that.
Given that initially you said that it's been an exciting journey, तो अभी तक जो आपने ये पूरी जर्नी गुजारी है, अगर nutshell में आपसे पूछा जाए कि आपने इससे क्या सीखा?
I think the lesson that I learned is that growth, economic growth जो है वो that is the single most important thing in surviving as an individual and as a nation or as a society.
सही.
So मेरा focus जो है ना that is on growth and productivity.
Okay.
So we were 40-50 years ago, we were a very, very enterprising, very productive nation. But we lost that paradise somewhere. So we need to go back and do a measurement of our purpose and our capacity to do things, not necessarily for others, for yourself. In a way you are actually doing for the entire society, even if you are doing it for yourself. तो वो वेल्थ क्रिएशन की मैं बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं बात कर रहा हूँ प्रोडक्टिविटी की। और that has to come through discipline and measurement.
Sahi.
So that is my lesson to myself.
And what about on an ending note, I would want you to any golden words, any advice जो specifically आप हमारे youth को देना चाहें, young lot को देना चाहें जो let's say IT में ही अपना career शुरू करना चाहते हैं, generally what would you want to say to the youth of Pakistan?
Find a purpose.
Sahi.
Bas one word, find a purpose.
Sahi.
Why? And then आप पे फिर दरवाजे खुलते जाएंगे
सही
उसको करने के, लेकिन पर्पस का आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आपने क्या करने के लिए आए हैं अब दुनिया में,
सही,
या क्या आप जो है ना करना चाहते हैं
या कर सकते हैं।
हाँ, और उसमें इम्पैक्ट के एंगल्स जो है ना, वो सोशल इम्पैक्ट के एंगल जो है वो रख लें, तो उसमें आई थिंक बहुत बेहतर वो मिक्स बन जाता है आपका आउटकम जो आप चाहते हैं।
सही।
उसमें आपकी पर्सनल इकोनॉमी है, आपकी फैमिली की इकोनॉमी है,
बिल्कुल,
और जो सोशल इम्पैक्ट है वो है, तो वो बगैर पर्पस के जो है ना वो नहीं हो सकता।
सही। Thank you so much. This was definitely a very progressive, a very insightful, exciting conversation. And आपने इतना time निकाला, अपने experiences share किए, we are very thankful for that.
मुझे बहुत खुशी हुई. Thank you very much.
So this was our conversation with Mr. Naseer Ahmed Akhtar, a very, very inspiring conversation where we got to know about the insights and the future for the IT industry in Pakistan and our presence globally. For more such conversations, keep on watching our show Meet the CEO, only on Discover Pakistan.